Welcome everybody to the June, I guess it's June version of the Ask Me Anything's session of the Tucson Mac User Group. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Go for it, Denny.
Uh, on Time Machine, I have two external drives I use for my Time Machine and just alternate daily between the two of them. The other day, I wanted to write something to a Time Machine disk, and I got a message that says I don't have permissions. Is that
Correct.
something that's built in or just
Yeah, time machines are only writable by the system, by
okay?
time machine. The whole
I,
drive. You can't do anything else. If you want, what you could do, since they're formatted APFS, using this utility, you could create another volume on it, and that'll be writable.
okay. I figured the system knew better than me, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and when you said you cycle them every other day, do you leave them in plugged in all the time, or do you physically swap them in and out?
I leave them plugged in, and
Okay,
I occasionally turn the machine completely off, but most of the time I just put it to sleep.
that's how I do it.
Yeah.
I've got it
Um,
on my phone. Uh, you there?
Yeah, go ahead, Tommy.
Uh, on my phone, I've got voicemail, and
Uh-huh.
so I press that, nothing happens, and it says carrier voicemail, and nothing happens there either. Well, how do I get the voicemail? How to make the voicemail work like it did previously? Go into and be retrievable.
Did you make any changes to your phone, such as carrier or anything like that?
No, but I had a problem with the I was at Costco. I shook a bag, and
Mm-hmm.
and as a result of that, it got a message. Yeah, you did you fall? And it wouldn't react to the no, and so the Marana police called, and my daughters were tracking me, and then only one of them couldn't track me after that. So it took me, I was on the phone for 2 hours with an Apple senior who was trying to help me get back, and my daughters were on their phones. It took 2 hours for him to, so he messed around with my phone all over the place.
And are you still getting the assist access button? That's that floating button on the side.
Yes,
Okay. It seems like somebody royally messed up the settings in your phone.
I agree.
So, best thing I could say would be make an appointment at the Genius Bar
Okay.
and see if they're willing to go through your phone with you.
Okay.
Okay. If not, I mean, I could probably figure out what's going on, but doing that remotely would be nearly impossible because I have to view all your screens and doing that stuff.
You mean you don't have one of those things that comes on my phone like Apple does?
I could, but it's not as simple as, yeah, they make it easier.
Okay, it's a good suggestion. I'll try
Okay.
that. Thank you.
I have a question. Uh, are you done?
Yeah, go ahead, Rhea.
Um, yeah, excuse me. You may recall that a very kind gentleman sent me a Mac Mini, and my life has been so chaotic in the months since he sent it that I haven't even had a chance to use it. And one of in addition to the chaos, one of the reasons is I haven't had a chance to get to Simutech and buy the type of cable that can connect it to my what do you call it, digital TV, so I can use the TV as a monitor. Another thing is I'm going to need to use a what do you call it, um, Wi-Fi keyboard, and I used to have one, and I think I may have found it in my storage unit. And I'm wondering, is there any way to tell if a particular keyboard is a Wi-Fi keyboard? Is there some particular thing to look for on it?
There's no such thing as a Wi-Fi keyboard. There are Bluetooth keyboards,
Oh, maybe that must be it then.
but with the newer equipment, if you have one of the older keyboards with the white keys that look like
Uh-huh.
this,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't work with the new computers.
Well, the one I found in storage looks like this. Just a second.
That looks like a Logitech keyboard or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might work. It depends on
Uh-huh.
what version of Bluetooth is in the keyboard.
Can you tell if this is indeed a Bluetooth keyboard?
Does it have a battery in it?
I took out two batteries. Yeah, because
Then
I think.
most likely it is Bluetooth.
Okay. Now I do remember that the Bluetooth equipment that I used to use years ago came with a little chip, some like little object that I plugged directly into my surge suppressor.
Something that
And
looks like this, you mean? That
yes, one of
that
those.
plugs into your computer. That's called a dongle. Some of them have them, some
Oh,
don't. You'd have to
somewhat.
look at you'd have to look at the bottom of your keyboard and see if
Uh-huh.
there is one of these sitting in there or if there's a place for one. If
There might be.
if there's a place that one sits, you're going to need that dongle to get the keyboard to work.
You might
No.
need to open up the
Battery compartment.
compartment to see if there is a little place next to the batteries to keep
Uh-huh.
that little dongle.
Yeah, I remember the word dongle now. Well, I used to have one, although I think it was associated with a Bluetooth mouse, which I think I also still have. But I think the dongle got lost in my move. It's very small, and uh, if I still have it, I can't imagine where. Um, with this is okay. This is the battery compartment, and it's empty right now. I don't know if you can see. There
No,
appears, uh,
it's
there
yeah,
appears
you would have to have it would have a slot in it. Let me hold on a second.
there is a slot here that looks like it's the right size for a dongle. My finger is right on top of it, but I don't know if you can see well enough. If I take
Yeah,
my
let
finger
me
away, can you see it?
No, it's not in focus. But let me see if you could see this. This will be a little bit more clear. On the bottom right here is a little dongle. See?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's for this particular mouse.
Okay. And
If your keyboard has one like that, and this is all they look like, just a
it
little
doesn't,
USB
right.
port. If it has a hole in there for one of those, then chances are you need the dongle.
Okay. Can I just buy a dongle at
No,
Simon? Oh, no.
No, it comes with the keyboard.
right. They come with the keyboard or the mouse because they're synced to them. If you
Oh,
lose the dongle, you have to buy another mouse
Right, or another keyboard.
keyboard.
Ummers.
So it makes a case for not losing those little dongles.
Yeah, it certainly does. But well, when you move, sometimes bad things happen. Um, so I'll see if I can find it. It's possible I might still have it somewhere. Um, I'm wondering if even you're sure I couldn't get one on eBay? I mean, seems like you can buy almost anything on eBay.
Well, the problem is that dongle is linked to your keyboard. So, like, say for example, you have two of the same keyboards, one on one Mac, one on the other.
Uh-huh.
They're not going to talk to each other.
What's not going to talk to what?
So, like, say you have two keyboards. Say you have two computers side by side,
Uh-huh.
and each one has one of those key. Each one of the keyboards has one of those dongles. If
Yeah.
your dongle is typing on your computer, you don't want it typing on the other computer.
Oh.
So they're
Dongles
they're keyboard specific,
they're
not
Oh,
not not like keyboard line specific, but the actual keyboard itself.
I see. Well, I mean, I don't think I'm not gonna have two computers side by side, so I'm wondering if I could just replace the dongle, but I
No,
guess
again,
not.
again, the
I see.
dongle from your keyboard will only
Well,
work with your
right.
keyboard.
Oh, I see.
It
So,
will
So in
not
other
work
words,
with.
if somebody is selling just a dongle on eBay,
yeah.
that dongle will only work with the keyboard that he had originally.
So
Then
they're totally unique. They're
Yes, they're
oh wow.
paired to the keyboards.
Oh, okay. Um, I seem to remember that the same dongle worked for both the keyboard and the mouse, even though I bought the keyboard and the mouse separately. Although I can't remember exactly what I did.
It wouldn't. If you
Oh
bought your keyboard and your mouse separately, they would have separate dongles, or one of them uses Bluetooth and the other one uses the dongle.
oh. Well, did you just say that a Bluetooth keyboard can function without a dongle in some
Right.
cases?
Bluetooth keyboards usually don't need dongles. They connect to your computer via Bluetooth.
Oh, okay. I guess one of them must have been Bluetooth then.
so
Okay.
you might find a Bluetooth keyboard on eBay
Uh-huh.
that is in your price range.
That could be.
But you can find them on Amazon for 20 bucks or less. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not that expensive.
Okay.
You just can't you don't want to buy like an old Apple keyboard like the one I showed you because those
Right.
won't work with the new
Uh-huh.
computers. You will not
So
be able to pair them.
if I don't find the dongle that goes with this keyboard, assuming it uses one, which I think it does, then this keyboard is totally useless. Is that it?
Correct.
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 Okay, so it's just like recycle material.
Uh-huh.
Pardon?
Yes.
Correct.
Ah, okay. Kind of a bummer, but oh well, that's life. These things happen. I will look for the dongle. It might turn up now that I have some idea what to look for. So that's pretty much all I was going to ask this time around.
Question, by the end of 2026, Bank of America wants to use passkeys and get away from the challenge questions. How can I read a little bit about it, but I do not comprehend much of anything because I was doing PayPal and they said something about passkeys and I was clicking around and said, oh, you got a passkey already. So I don't know how I did it.
A lot of places use passkeys instead of passwords. They'll give you an option, even though they're going to be using passkeys, they won't go to passkeys only.
Okay, because there are some problems too with the passkeys, so I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, technically, passkeys are supposed to be more secure, but I know, like a lot of my clients are of the older generation. They don't want a password on their phone. They want to be able to turn their phone just on without typing in a passkey or using a fingerprint sensor. Okay. If you have a passkey on a device like that, anybody who has their can get a hold of the device will be able to access those websites without any security
Clear out my bank account.
and clean out your bank account or do anything else you want. You'd be surprised how many people I know that when they just don't have a password on their computer. They just don't want it. They've never had one.
Yeah.
And it's just for them, it's an inconvenience. No matter how many times you tell them, it's good for security. They just don't want it.
You got so many options that
Yeah, well, the password is really good. And if you're really being secure, you're going to have a password manager.
which one do you recommend?
I recommend 1Password. With 1Password, there is no difference in how you interact with it, whether you have a password or a passkey. You have to unlock password. You have to tell it to authorize the site, and either it injects the passkey or it injects your password. It doesn't save you any time or any effort.
How about the Apple thing? What level is that?
Well, again, it's only in the newer operating systems. If you have an older phone or an older computer, you're not going to have that feature.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I have a I have a remark about keyboards for Macs. I just did a little dive over in Amazon and found one for 18 or $19, wireless. Um, Not really a name that I recognize. I saw one from, let's see, from Mac Alley, USB-C keyboard compatible with iMac and Mac Mini, $30. Um, I also recommend keeping a inexpensive wired keyboard and inexpensive wired mouse around just in case you lose your dongle or your wireless keyboard goes away for whatever reason. So I put a link to one of those in the chat. You just go to Amazon and search for keyboard for Mac. You come up with a whole bunch.
Bob, are they
Oh, thank
specifying
you. Thank you.
Sure. What was that, Chris?
are they specifying what kind of battery, whether it's a physical AA or whether it's a rechargeable? Because a rechargeable battery that old may not hold power very long.
I didn't get that deep into it. For $19, what do you want?
Yeah, I had
Um,
the original Apple, rechargeable keyboard that looks just like this one. And, it would hold a charge for about 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, because it had been recycled. I mean, so many they're only good for so many cycles, right? And,
And if they're just sitting there unused, like a couple I have, they'll probably never charge up.
yeah. So
so
physical batteries would be better.
that's another reason to hang on to a wired keyboard, even if you don't use it regularly.
I've got several.
Use one of those.
Yeah. It's just very awkward the way I'm set up here. I guess I would have to use it at first in order to make sure that the Mac Mini is turned on that the Bluetooth is turned on, right?
Sure.
Because yeah, and
Right.
once I've done that, uh then I can use a Bluetooth keyboard with it. But I would have to use the wired keyboard to make sure that the Bluetooth is on, right? And or turn it on if it isn't.
And a
But
wired
whatever.
mouse.
Hmm.
For probably $30, you can get a wired keyboard and a wired mouse and just put them in a drawer,
Hmm.
JIC, just in case.
Okay. Well, I think I already have those.
Then you might have all you need.
It could be, at least to start out. Thank you guys.
Sure.
Anybody else have any questions?
Well, plug the wired mouse and keyboard in before you turn the machine on, so that when you turn the machine on and the operating system starts to load, it will recognize those things connected to your USB ports
Uh-huh.
and let you use them.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, that makes
Bi-
sense.
Is it William or Bill?
Bill,
Bill, you had a question?
I have a question. I've got on my computer, I use a Gmail account and I use the Apple Mail thing. I also have an Outlook on my computer for a business that I work for, and I'd like to send things out and be able to get a reply back that they open it, this kind of thing, like you used to be able to do on Microsoft Outlook. But I can't use that company's Outlook to do this. Can I have two Outlooks on my machine?
Okay, explain that again. I'm sorry, I missed something there.
Okay. I've got a Gmail account that I
Right.
use with Apple Mail.
Mm-hmm.
A company I work with
has I have Outlook on my computer.
Okay, is it an Outlook account or the Outlook software?
Uh, how can I tell the difference?
Okay, an Outlook account you could use within Apple Mail.
Okay.
Outlook software just has a big O on it as part of Microsoft Office.
Yeah. When I open this thing up, it comes up and asks me to sign into that company's, Outlook account.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that Outlook is theirs.
Okay, yes.
Can I get a Microsoft Outlook account and put it on my computer that's separate?
Yeah, and you don't need to use the Outlook software for that.
Oh,
So you could use the mail software and get an Outlook account. All you have to do is go to live.com and set up an email address.
okay.
And I believe they're still doing Outlook. They may, every now and then when you go there, they only give out Hotmail accounts.
Because I have a Microsoft 365 account.
Right, but that's tied to an email address. So that's totally different.
Oh,
So your Microsoft 365 could be that could be assigned to your at mac.com or at icloud.com email address. That's just your license for the software.
okay.
Now, Outlook on a business, that's using most likely Microsoft Exchange. And depending on how it's set up, you're either using Microsoft Outlook to launch, and their software is requiring you to sign in every time, or since you always have to sign in, you're probably launching some sort of VPN software that VPNs into their server.
Yeah, it says a legacy Outlook, whatever that means.
Can you take a snapshot of it, of what the app looks
Uh,
like when you open it? Or go under,
Microsoft Outlook. Hmm. Okay, it says it belongs to my email.
okay. So that's the Outlook software.
Yeah.
But when you're checking their email, you shouldn't have to sign in every time.
Well, it makes me sign in. Unless I don't use it all the time. That's the problem. I may just get rid of it and just use Outlook on my own then and tell them I just won't look at their email.
Well, you could use Outlook as a mail program and use it with your Apple Mail or your Gmail,
Okay.
or you could get an Outlook. Outlook email is sort of like Gmail. So it's just an email address.
Right. Because I look at when I look at the Microsoft Outlook and I open it up, come on, computer, and I go to about Outlook, it's got belongs to my email, my Gmail account.
Right. That's because that's the software that you is part of Microsoft
Right.
365. So all that is an email client.
Okay.
So that's no different than the Mail app or Thunderbird or I think Tommy uses Mail Maven.
Hmm.
It's just an email client.
Okay. But I can't use that and be able to, what I want to do is be able to send an email to somebody and see when they opened it.
Um,
My regular Gmail account through Apple, I can't do that.
no, but there are software apps that allow you to do that. Like Mail Steward, I think allows you to see when somebody read an email.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think Mail Maven does the same thing. Again, that's part of the client. And I
Okay.
don't know if Outlook does Outlook do that for everybody? I haven't used it in years.
I think it does. I'm just looking for the software where I can run email, and I'm doing this high school reunion, and I'm trying to send emails out and make sure they get opened, and just not go into Never Never Land, and nobody ever opens it, but it's a good email.
Right.
Maybe if you've got it
Um,
set up, maybe if you've got it set up so that you uh, want to log in each time, just a preference on the account.
yeah,
Somebody,
that's what I'm thinking on that one.
Yeah.
But I would check out. I think Mail Steward may have a free version. I haven't used it in years. Mail
What mail
Steward.
program do you use?
I just use Apple Mail.
Okay.
I mean, I have a at mac.com email address. I'm 100% into the Apple architecture.
Yeah.
So,
I just haven't found a way with that Mac email to be able to, Apple email to be able to get a response as to whether or not they opened it.
no, I think Mail Steward does that.
I'll look into that.
And it's 20, let's see. It looks like it's $25 for their light version. You might want to check their user guide before spending any money.
Okay.
But the way that they do this is they'll incorporate a 1 by 1 pixel image or file inside of the email. You ever open up an email and you see a little dot in the top left-hand corner or on the bottom of it?
Okay.
What that is, that's a 1 by 1 pixel image. And as soon as that image loads in their email program, it the server is notified that it's been opened, and then we'll send you an email saying that they've opened it. The
Oh, okay.
caveat is if they're blocking downloads, like Apple Mail allows you to block downloads automatically.
Hmm.
Return receipts do not work in that
Ah,
scenario.
okay. Yeah, the return receipt is the type of thing I guess I'm looking for. So I'll look at Mail Steward, see if that'll do it.
Okay.
I know I can do it with Outlook, but
Yeah, if it's Outlook, just put your Apple ID credentials in there. You will need to get an app specific password for that if
yeah,
you're using an iCloud account. If you're using Gmail, just log in with your Gmail credentials
yeah.
and use
Okay.
Outlook.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Anybody else have any questions?
I have
Lee?
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
uh, I just recently purchased a copy of Carbon Copy Cloner. I have never made a an image of anything on my Mac. I've used Macrium on a PC in the past, but I've yet to use one on the Mac. Um, what would you recommend I use as far as the size? How would I determine what size uh, uh, hard drive I should be using for that purpose?
Okay, well, how big is the drive in your Mac?
It's 1 terabyte.
Get a 1 terabyte solid state drive.
Okay, so something equal to that. Now, I also have iCloud storage. Should I be taking that into consideration?
Yes, but that's separate.
So what I need
So,
that?
right,
Yeah.
one of the things that Carbon Copy Cloner did about 5 or 6 months ago, um, I wrote Mike an email and I asked him how I do something. And he goes, just wait a couple of months. What type of answer is that? Just wait a couple of months. What they've done is they've added cloud storage backup. So it'll
Oh,
download. So if you set this up, it'll download all the contents of your iCloud drive, your Dropbox, your OneDrive, any of the online storage stuff that you use to an external hard drive whenever you run the backup. The caveat is, though, you need to know how much storage that you have, and you have to have a separate drive just for that, or a larger drive with separate partitions, one for your
seems like
normal
it would.
backup and one for your cloud storage backup.
Will that backup for the cloud account? Uh, how should I say this? Uh, First of all, should I be carrying? Should I should I have the one for my for the cloud account for the one that I'm going to be using to clone my drive, and also and also a separate one for my uh, trying to think of what you call it, the time machine. So that'll mean I'll have three separate drives that are going to
No,
connect.
okay. What time machine is? There's two different types of backups that you worry about on the Mac. One
Mm,
is what I consider for disaster recovery. God
mm,
forbid your Mac crashes and you lose everything.
right,
That's Carbon Copy Cloner.
right.
Time Machine is for if you're working on a file, you made some changes and you accidentally saved it before you wanted to.
Mhm.
You can go back in time and recover that file.
Right, I understand.
Okay. Now, what type of Mac do you have?
I have a MacBook Pro. It's a 16-inch 2021 M1 processor.
Okay. So one of the things that there's two ways of backing that up using Carbon Copy Cloner. Either
Mhm.
you could back up data only, or you can make what's known as a bootable copy.
That's what I'd want.
Okay, a bootable copy. Well, once you make your bootable copy, after you do it the first time, you have to go in and let the system bless the bootable copy. Otherwise, it will not work. And
You have to let
it'll only work on your computer.
you have to do. I lost that last part there. You have to let the computer do what? The system do what?
It has to bless the backup. Basically, you have a user name in on that backup.
Right.
Okay, your system needs to authorize that user to boot your computer.
Oh, okay. I got caught up with the word bless.
Yeah, what it does is in the older Apple days, you used to open the system folder on a backup drive and close it. That blessed the system.
Oh, okay.
It basically lets the computer know that it's okay to boot that system.
Okay.
You also have to change your security settings to allow your computer to boot from an external drive. Right now, that is turned off.
Okay. Now, if I set it up as a bootable drive, will it? Can I set it so that it will continue to in the background back up every hour or every 8 hours or whenever they recommend in Carbon Copy Cloner?
I do mine every Sunday. There's no need to do it every hour since you have Time Machine.
Okay. So,
Time
but
machine,
yeah,
time machine does the
the data.
automatic repeating backups every hour or so.
Okay.
Carbon copy cloner will requires you to initiate it. And once
Okay.
Oh,
you've done a carbon copy cloner initial, then you can change the setting in it to do a smart update, and it will take less time. It'll just update the stuff that changed, not the stuff
Right.
that's still the same.
I guess what
yeah.
I'm trying to ascertain is I know that I have to have a separate hard drive for the a time machine and have that connected all the time. But for my if I'm doing the carbon copy cloner, if I have a separate hard drive for that, I have to have that connected also, don't I?
No, you don't want to connect it all the time.
Not all the time.
That's the purpose of it. I keep mine in the safe in blackout bags.
Oh, okay, okay,
Just
The,
connect it when you're going to do a carbon copy cloner.
right. That's why I said I do mine on every Sunday.
okay.
I have about five or six drives. If you could, you probably can't see behind me, but I have about four computers behind me that get backed up. So
Right.
I go machine to machine to machine to machine. I back them all up to external hard drives. Then I put them back in the safe.
Okay. Okay. And then
And
you can use the same software with a separate hard drive to do the same thing with your cloud service?
what I do is I have a partition on one of the drives,
Yeah.
which is only 100 gigabytes because I only have 50 gigabytes on iCloud. And it backs up iCloud and Dropbox for me.
Okay.
So
Okay. Got it.
yeah, and if you need help setting it up, Lee, feel free to text or email me. I could walk you through it and give you a hand on that.
I appreciate it.
I have a suggestion for Lee, and that is that I hard drives are very cheap. And so when I did my initial installation of this machine, I bought two of the same size hard drives and I made them go to, oh, I'm sorry. Hard drives are for, I use for um, carbon copy cloner. And I alternate back and forth from one to the other, so that I always have a one backup of my backup. The other thing is I have bought two of the uh, compact drives. The what's the word I want?
Solid state.
Solid state. And I have them both cabled into my Mac. And I let Time Machine alternate back and forth from drive A to drive B to drive A to drive B, and it will do that on its own. So I get two backups on Time Machine and two different backups on Carbon Copy Cloner. I
That's a
actually
good
have
idea.
5 backups of everything and probably a few more floating around.
Uh,
You're as bad
that
as me,
brings
Jerry.
that brings up another point. Uh, for if I'm doing that kind of a thing, do I need to, should I be using a solid state drive or should I?
Yes.
If you
Okay.
get
I'll give you a prime example. It really depends on what you're doing and how much time you have free. I keep one backup in my laptop. Um, Whenever I leave the house to go to a client's, I back up my laptop. It takes me about 3 to 4 minutes on a solid state drive.
Mhm.
If I was to use a spinning drive, it would take me 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, how much time do you have? Your backup should be a convenience, not a pain in the neck. So,
Okay.
using hard drives per se, I
Mhm.
recommend those for Time Machine because all you're doing is moving a small file at a time. You're moving one file that you've changed. But when you're doing Carbon Copy Cloner, you're changing every file that you've changed over the weekend. And when you're copying over the operating system, like say you do a software update and you go to 16.5.2 in a couple of weeks. When you do that backup, there's no way of backing up the system just to 16.5.2 without erasing that backup and doing a complete backup.
Mm.
A 1 terabyte using solid state drive would take you less than 20 minutes.
Okay.
On a spinning drive would take 4 hours, 5 hours.
But you could use a spinning drive for Time Machine.
Sure, why not? I do.
Okay.
I have a 20 terabyte RAID array sitting here that I use for Time Machine.
Okay.
Time Machine is the only backup I've ever used, and I've only used a spinning drive for it. So, would you think that that's inadequate? I mean, I've never used Carbon Copy Cloner.
Could be better.
You've never had an emergency where you lost a drive. I have. I'll
Oh,
tell you what, it's nasty.
yeah.
I
I guess
even on my RAID array, I lost a drive last month, and I spent 2.5 weeks recovering data.
um,
And all it had to do was rebuild itself and verify, and it just
hmm,
took forever.
I had an experience
wow.
where I had a computer with that was set up. It was a Windows computer, but it was set up with a mirrored drive. So there were two drives. Um, it was in my business, and it literally exploded.
Yeah.
Fortunately, one of the drives survived, so I didn't lose anything. But that was a lucky accident. I remember the case because I smelled this. I smelled the electrical something burning that was electrical. I called the fire department. They came in. Can you smell it? Um, and then it blew up. And two firemen lifted me up by the elbows, and my feet never touched the floor. They just carried me right out. I was outside before I knew it. They were fast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when it comes to your data, you want to make sure that you have backups.
yeah.
Um, like Jerry, I have multiple backups. I think I have 2 to 3 backups of everything that's important.
Hmm.
And
And
on
I
on
would like to have, like to have backups not only of the data because I know how I can do that, but I would also like to have backups of all the software that I have on the machine, including the operating system. Why not?
yeah,
And make it bootable. Because in an emergency, I don't really have any emergencies lately, but if I were to have one, I'd sure like to be ready.
I'm
I,
pretty good about backing up my data, but like if I create another a new MP3 or an MP4 or a Word file, I back it up on several hard drives individually as I go. But I haven't used Time Machine to back up um, a laptop in a long time, and I've never, as I say, I've never used Carbon Copy Cloner, so I guess I'm not backing up operating systems and stuff like that, which I probably should.
yeah,
So
you need to have a plan for backups. It's not
yeah.
just one of the things that I kind of remind people is that when you start doing a backup, you
Hmm.
have to do it all the time. It's not a
Hmm.
do it once and forget it.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, from one angle, you could say I'm pretty religious about doing backups, but I don't use these backup software programs enough. And how is Carbon Copy Cloner pretty expensive?
And
No.
if you've never owned it before, I think it's $40 or $50.
Yeah, that's
Ah,
all.
okay.
It's not
And
that bad.
you would get that at Simultech?
Nope, you get it at bombich.com.
Bombit.
Bombich. Mike
Yeah. And
Bombich
what
is the developer.
and what about those solid state terabyte drives you were mentioning? Where would we get those?
Amazon.
On.
Ah,
And just note, prices have gone up on solid state drives.
uh,
I keep a drive in my keychain that I paid $150 for a year and a half ago that now
uh-huh.
sells for $700.
And it's a terabyte?
It's a 2 terabyte.
Ooh, jeez.
That's
So
steep.
yeah, 1 terabyte drives used to be $50 on for a solid state drive. Now they're
Mhm.
150 to 200.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And you
it's
would
not
use that.
cheap.
Mhm. Now, and you would use those just to back up internal hard drives, right? Not 4 or 5 terabyte external
Right.
hard drives.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you could see, let me see if I could do this here with this software that I have. I could
Hmm.
zoom in here. Yeah, I could. You see these drives up here?
These shortcuts.
That's about
Yeah.
100 terabytes.
Wow.
I
I,
backed
I
that
don't
up.
see I don't see that
The
at the moment. All I see is
the
ridge.
hold on a
Oh,
second.
there.
Let me make
Oh,
this.
those. Yeah, yeah. Those. I see.
There's 3 Mac Minis. That one has 4 20 terabyte drives in it, and
Holy
these
mackerel.
two have. There's another 4 18 terabyte drives in these.
Holy mackerel.
So I have a lot of storage, and I back them up all. I have about, as I said, I have about 8 drives in the safe, and it
Huh.
backs up everything to that because, God forbid, I lose data. It would take me
Yeah.
years to recover.
Yeah. Where would you recover it from?
I'd have to rely on friends and stuff like that. A lot of this stuff
Ugh.
is unrecoverable.
Oh my God. Well, you probably have a lot more data than I have, but still.
Yeah, as I said, I have about 100 terabytes worth of data, if not a little bit more than that here.
Did you say that you have a safe deposit box at a bank or something where you
Nope.
keep?
Well, you could. Some people do that. They'll like I used to before I owned my own house. I
Yeah.
used to keep my backups in a safe deposit box.
Oh,
You go
so
there you go there one day, you take it out, and you do your backups. You go next day and you put it back in, and do that every week.
I see. Where do you keep backups now, or are there any
I
that aren't?
I have a fireproof safe in the house,
Oh, I see.
big enough to
Okay.
stuff you in there, Rhea.
Yipes. Well, I've got one, but I couldn't get bodily into it. I've got one, but I can't get bodily into it.
I think the important thing is to have one, at least one off-site.
Yeah, well, and I don't do the off. I'm probably bad because I don't do the offsite only because I have so much data.
Hmm.
Um, and
I do
yeah,
the offsite with Backblaze.
yeah, I was thinking about them, but the Backblaze will not back up stuff on a NAS.
Right.
So, and even at my speeds, it would take me, God, probably a week or at
Yeah.
least a couple of days to
Yeah.
back up all my data. And they would charge me an arm and a leg.
And they're
You'd
cheap.
Yeah, you'd have to have them send you something in order to be able to use it properly, and it would be
No,
far
I
more
believe it or
expensive.
not, I have my network is fast enough. I have 2.5 gigabit up. So
Yeah, yeah. I thought about using carbonite, but for the same reason, this would be simpler, I think.
yeah, and depending on how much RAM you have, I know somebody who bought a MacBook Air and only had 16 gigs of RAM and got Carbonite and it slowed their computer down to basically unusable.
Right.
Mm.
So, but
By the way, I read somewhere, and it's maybe old information because I read it on the internet, but that carbon copy cloner had some difficulty with bootable drives on Silicon. Is that still the
yes, and
case?
that's what I was telling you. You have to so what you do is when you make there's a special menu that you have to go in. It's called Legacy Bootable Backups.
Uh-huh.
You create the bootable backup, and then you have to tell your machine that the user on that backup is authorized to boot the machine. It's what
Okay.
we used to call blessing.
Right.
Okay. Once you do that, then you have bootable backups.
Okay.
Okay. But they're only bootable on your computer.
Yeah.
If you go into another computer, it has to be set up with a user. Then you would go into the settings and tell the system that that external drive can be booted and that that user is trusted, and then it becomes bootable on another machine. It's not as easy as holding down the option key like we used to and just selecting a drive.
Okay.
There's a process to it.
But it could be used on another machine using the
Yes,
proper
it's just
process.
not designed to be done that way. I've done it, so
We'll talk.
not a problem. I'm always here.
Oh, okay.
Anybody else? We have another 2 or 3 minutes.
I'll make one comment, and that is that uh, a lot of our thinking has been conditioned by um, really not properly put together hardware. And in the sense that the reliability of the hardware that is shipped nowadays by Apple under the ARM processor regime is significantly better than it was with Intel. So a lot of our thinking is still back in the Intel stage where we say, "Oh my God, uh, this is catastrophic," uh, except that it almost never happens. And
Well,
so,
you may say that, Jerry, but I know I'll give you a prime example of what happened last month. I had a client that called me dire straits. Her cat knocked over her computer on the floor and she lost the drive.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have a backup? I haven't ran it in a month. So she lost in over a month's time all the data. I was able to recover the data.
Uh-huh.
She had to get a new computer, of course, but we were able to recover data, but she wasn't religious about doing the backup. The only time she did backups was when I said, have you done your backup lately? She'll say, oh, let me do that today. I set up reminders on her computer. Every 7 days, if you don't do a backup, you get this alert. What does she do? Hits cancel.
That
Eh, the old saying is
you
you
got
could,
exactly what the world was trying to teach her.
yeah,
The lesson was taught again and again and again, and she refused to learn.
right.
Sorry, guys, that makes
And
me.
it's like one of the lessons that I learned early on is I will never have a computer without a UPS system on it.
Oh,
When I
absolutely.
was living back east, I bought a UPS for my computer. I plugged it in. That night, somebody knocked a telephone pole outside my house down. The transformer blew. We lost a stereo system, a TV system, and my computer was fine.
Go
What
for
is
it.
UPS? What does
Uh,
UPS stand for?
Uninterruptible power supply. I have
Oh,
I have 7 of them in my house. I have one on every TV, stereo, and even on all my network equipment.
I've
is
got
that like a
three.
generator? No, it's not a
I
generator.
have one of those too. Um,
Oh.
I'm ready for World War III.
Are
Uh,
you, do you live in a bunker?
No, but I live out in the middle of nowhere up in Marana, so
uh,
But his business runs on his income is dependent upon his equipment working.
right.
That's a critical issue for him.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Okay,
I run my
let's take a break here. Give everybody a chance to do whatever they need to do, and our general meeting will start up at 7 o'clock.
I'll say goodbye to you guys because I can't stay for the general meeting.